Hello everyone, and welcome to another Talmud Tutor video. In this video we're going to be discussing how to figure out the beginning, ends, and middles of Pasukim when they come up in the Gemara. Okay, so the first step is to determine when a Pasuk begins. So there are two ways to do this. Okay, the first way is to use identifiers in the Gemara itself that the printer puts in. In old Gemaras, if you have words, you'll see a degree symbol, big circle like that, above and to the right of the word at the beginning of a verse. This is for older print Gemaras. You'll see this at the beginning, and then you'll know that the pasuk starts from here. And to go and look up that pasuk, if you follow this out to the margin, you'll see it'll say where it's from, Shemos, and Chav Zayin or whatever. Okay, and then you can go and look it up, and by looking it up, you'll be able to determine where it ends by just seeing where it stops matching. Okay, you'll know, oh, it ends here, and then this is not the pasuk. Okay, so that's old print Gemaras. You won't see, you'll see a lot of these in Beit Midrashos, but you won't see them so much in a store when you go to buy them. They have this. The newfangled Gemaras instead have a commentary on the side called the Torah, or Hashalem. Okay, and different prints will have different symbols that go to the Gemara text in the middle, but this is usually a small commentary on the outer part of the page. And let's say that it's using script letters and a bracket, parentheses. So you'll look, when you get up to one of those in the Gemara, you'll know, okay, a pasuk starts, then you can go to here and it'll have the nekudos, and you can use this to see where it ends. I still encourage looking it up in the actual Chumash or Tanach. That way you'll see it in context, and you'll also be able to get a translation if you have trouble reading it. So looking it up is a good thing. Another reason to look it up is to have it in the context of where it comes from. So if all of a sudden it's talking about lashes, you want to know, well, what came before it, what came after it, why is it talking about lashes, and the type of lashes it's talking about, what is it pertaining to exactly. So that's all good stuff. You see these markers, either, it could be different ones. You look on the side when you open up your Gemara, and you'll see if it's like this, or it's like, it's like this. You'll see a whole variety of different ones. Just make sure you're using the same one, because there's many commentaries that it goes to the sides of for referencing and things. So just make sure you're using the Torah or Hashalem one, and that'll tell you where the Pasukim start. And if you have an old Gemara, just look for the circle. Okay, now that's one method to determine the beginning of a pasuk. Another method to determine the beginning of the pasuk is these four key phrases. When you see Amar Kra, means the pasuk said, and then immediately follows a pasuk. Dichsiv, that it is written, okay, and that it is written, and that indicates that a pasuk will begin. Dichsiv, and then immediately following it starts the pasuk. Look up the pasuk, and you'll be able to find out where it ends. Okay, so Shen Amar, that it said, this you will not find so commonly in the Gemara. It's not Aramaic, this is Hebrew. The other three are Aramaic. And Shenemar is used in a Mishnah or Brisa when it quotes a pasuk. It'll say Shenemar, that it says, or as it is said. Right? She, that. Ne'emar, it is said. Past tense. Okay? And Amar Achmana, which means the merciful one said. Merciful one being HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem. So that's that. So these are four really important phrases to know, and these all indicate the beginning of a verse. So you have either the symbology that we mentioned before, or these 4 key phrases, and that's how you determine the beginning of a pasuk. So that's the beginning of a source. And I have down here a quote from the Gemara in Brachos, Taf Beis Amud Aleph. Brachos, okay, Beis Amud Aleph. And this has 2 psukim in it, and you'll see, without going into translating every word, without understanding what this Gemara is talking about, we'll be able to find those psukim. Okay, so let's just scan it, and you'll see, using our key phrases, the Gemara that I took this from did not have any of this symbology because it's just a text file. So, from HebrewBooks.org. Okay, so here we go. So, Tana Akra Koi, Dichsiv. Okay, remember, Dichsiv. Dichsiv here is one of our words. So, Dichsiv, I know pasuk is starting. So here starts our pasuk. Bishach b'chav kumecha v'hachi. Okay, now, if you were using a Gemara, you'd see where this pasuk is from. If you're not, you may already guess where this pasuk is from. This pasuk is from Shema, specifically the paragraph of V'ahavta, and it says B'shach b'chav kumecha, when you lie down and when you get up. And V'hachi is not in Shema, so you would know that it ends here. If not, if you didn't know that, when upon looking up the pasuk, you would see that V'hachi is not in the pasuk, and it indeed ends here. So B'shach b'chav kumecha is the quote. Now, the pasuk does continue, but the Gemara is focusing on those 2 words because the discussion pertains to those words. Occasionally in the Gemara, the part of the pasuk that is quoted is not the part that is discussed, and that's usually corrected by the Bach or one of the other commentaries on the side of the Gemara that who does corrections and stuff. So he'll usually say, it's really talking about that part of the pasuk. But most of the time, the 1 word it quotes, or the 3 words, or the 5 words it quotes are the words that it wants to focus on. So here's one pasuk. Let's scan. Just keep scanning. Okay. V'hachi katani zman kriyas shema deshchiva emas misha she'akohanim nichnasim le'achol b'trumason v'ibayis ema yolef mibraisa shel olam dichsiv. Here's another dichsiv. Okay, so I know a pasuk is starting again. Another pasuk is starting. Okay. Vayihi erev, vayihi voker yom echad. Okay, that's a pasuk in Bereshis. Okay. And that's the end of it when you would go and look it up. So we can see, using this technique, even without using the symbology of the degree symbol or the reference to the Torah Shalim, we can already, using these important key phrases, we can determine already where a pasuk begins, and then using the Torah or Shalim up here, as well as either the Torah or Shalim and the references that it brings. It brings references at the end. It'll say Shemos something something, and you can go look it up. And by looking it up, you'll be able to have a understanding of the full translation. You'll have nekudos, you'll have punctuation, you'll have a lot more tools at your disposal, as well as Rashi and other things on the pasuk. So these are the main ways to determine where the source of a pasuk in Tanach begins and ends in the Gemara, as well as how to understand the meaning of the verse itself in its own context. Okay, so that's that, and wish everyone Hatzlacha Rabba, and have a wonderful day.